Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mick and I'm doing another 24-hour readathon. This readathon is going to be full-fledged fall vibes, hopefully. And I'm doing it with my roommate, Maddie. She has never been like fully in one of my videos before, but she's gonna be making a TikTok of the experience at the same time. So we're locking in. We're locking in together. She will probably be tapping out earlier than me, but I also cannot guarantee that I will make it the full 24 hours. Unfortunately, I do have plans tomorrow afternoon, so this is gonna have to truly be just a how many books can I read in 24 hours slash how long can I stay away? You know, I would do the timer method, 12 hours and 12 hours, but unfortunately, that was not in the cards. It was not in the cards this weekend. So we're just doing pure 24 hours, probably a break for sleep at some point. And yeah, I'm just really excited because I'm really in the fall mood. I have so many fall candles. We're gonna put a fall ambiance on the TV. I got cookies, I got cold brew, I got pumpkin spice syrup, and I have a nice little stack of fall books that I'm really hoping to get to. So I'll just run you through really quick the books that I've grabbed, and I honestly might change it up as we go throughout the day because who knows how I'm gonna be feeling. I've kind of been in and out of like reading slumps for the last month-ish, and so it's really just gonna be how I'm feeling in the moment. So I have You Again by Kate Goldbeck, which is like a fall When Harry Met Sally coded rom-com. I have House of Hollow, which is a young adult fantasy horror situation, and that's all I know. So I'll be going in mostly blind to this, but it seems like a dark, really fun, fast read, so love that. I think I'm about like 30 or 40 something pages into All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which is the third book in the Natural series, so I'll probably be starting with this one. But these are like such quick reads and they're so much fun, so very excited about this. And then I couldn't decide between these two which one to put on the stack, so I just grabbed both. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna end up leaning towards, honestly. Maybe Atlas 6 just because it's shorter. But these are both like dark academia fantasy situations. That's like the extent of what I know about both of them, really. I know this one has magicians, this one has a murder, but they're very similar in my mind, so we'll see. And then I also have my Kindle just in case, and I also have so many books on my TBR cart that are fall coded that I ran through in my physical TBR video. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just really excited. I want to use this opportunity to like really get back in the swing of reading because I've been missing it, even though I like haven't been able to pick up a book. Don't know what that's about. But yeah, anyways, I've been talking for too long. We are gonna get started here in the next like 5 or 10 minutes. But yeah, I'm really excited. So let's go read for 24 hours. Waiting for clean, even time to start the timer at. It's currently 12:39. We're gonna start at 12:40. Wanna come be in my...
Oh my god. Okay, we started.
23 hours, 59 minutes.
12:40.
On the dot.
Reading away.
We're at the park now. I don't remember the last time I updated. Was it when we started?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So it's currently 4:30, so it's almost been 4 hours. Is what I'm trying to say. I'm on page 284 and things are getting crazy. We're definitely escalating at this point. I really feel like there's not that much I can say about this book because it's the third book in a series, but I just love it. I love the characters. I love their found family. It's so cute. They're constantly like doing things for each other without saying it. It's just really good. It's really good. And I'm always so impressed with this series specifically, how everything connects. And so since this is the third book, obviously there's pieces of this mystery that are tying back to things that happened in the first book or things we found out in the first book or the second book about each of the characters or about like things from their childhood, and it's just really good and I'm having a really good time, and I would highly recommend to anyone that likes Criminal Minds because it feels so much like Criminal Minds. So that's me. That's almost done with Swift and Saddled. Page 177. It's getting a little cringed out at the present moment. She's gonna power through.
I'm gonna power through it.
She's gonna power through. No, 100%. Anyways, just wanted to update because it's been a long time since we spoke. But I think we're gonna stay here for a while and then potentially try and watch the sunset from our roof when it gets closer to sunset time. So I'll let you know as soon as I'm finished. Should be pretty soon. And then we will figure out what I'm picking up next. Okay, talk to you later. Okay. For sure. here. Something crazy just happened in here. And I'm not actually completely following what it was, but I know it was crazy. I'm so confused. Wait. That was crazy. There's a lot going on, actually. I think it is, because I heard him say after the kiss. Currently watching a wedding rehearsal, potentially, right now. But quickly, I wanted to go ahead and give thoughts. Obviously, at the end of all of this, I'll give in-depth thoughts once I finish everything. But since I don't have anything else to read while we're here, I'll go ahead and talk about this one. I think my first instinct is 4.5 stars. I feel like that's just like the standard for this series. It's what I always feel like when I finish these books. They're so, so good. I love the feeling that I get when I'm reading them. But this one, I think, like, I really liked the plot. I think the case that they're on is super interesting, and the way that it sets up for the final book is so good. I'm actually really mad at myself that I didn't see it coming before now. There were just a couple things that happened, I feel like, in the back half that were maybe like a little bit rushed. Get it? Because these are meant to be like fast paced. There were just like a couple things that I feel like could have been developed a little bit more, you know? So yeah, anyways, that's it for this one. I don't know what I'm gonna pick up next. I kind of want to do something a little bit spookier, I think. So either House of Hollow, Ninth House, or Atlas 6. I'm thinking maybe Atlas 6 would be the best thing to do because I've had it for the longest, but I think You Again will maybe be for later tonight or tomorrow, depending on how far I can get into a second book. So I don't know, we'll see, but I'm excited to have finished this, and now I'm kind of sad I wish I had the fourth book. That's okay. Anyways, talk to you later.
Book 1. Oh. Ninth house. She's thick. She is thick.
Definitely like I'm intrigued, but this is definitely my brain's gonna have to be on.
Oh, okay.
Which I like that, you know.
I'm expecting that.
Like I wasn't in that headspace,
Right.
But this feels already like Secret History vibes, and I love the Secret History. So good feeling, just gonna have to be locked in. And I'm not very far into this at all, but I figured I hadn't even said this is what I picked or told you anything about it, and since I didn't know anything about it, I couldn't tell you anything, but now I do. So from what I can tell so far, we're following our main character Alex, who was recently admitted to Yale to serve a secret society that is pretty prominent on Yale's campus, and this secret society has a lot to do with not the occult necessarily, but they do some interesting paranormal adjacent things in order to help their benefactors, like people that invest in the stock market and things like that. And so far we've been introduced to ghosts and potentially the idea that Alex has magic of her own, and that's about all we've gotten 30 pages in. I have no idea what the plot is going to be, but the vibes are so Secret History coded plus like the occult plus magic, so I'm already really locked in. It's definitely a bit of a vibe switch up from All In, definitely using a lot more brain power to understand the world building that we're doing currently, but I'm enjoying it, and I'm hoping I can get a decent amount of the way through, maybe even finish the whole thing. I don't know, we'll find out, but I'm really enjoying it so far. So like really good feelings about it. Potentially, I mean, I'm not gonna say 5 stars because I don't even really understand where we're going yet, but like the writing is giving 5-star energy, so we'll see. It's almost 10:40, no, 9:40, yeah, and I'm gonna make some cookies. Mini Nestle cookies. Onion, you want some cookies? There's a cat right here. updated since I had my little cookie snack, but we are now officially halfway and I am on page 200 of Ninth House. I was falling asleep, unfortunately, so 225 is like exactly halfway through, so I was gonna try and get to that at least, but I am so tired. I forgot. I don't know why I made the decision to wake up so early this morning. I woke up at 7:30. Like, if I was planning on staying up until 8 a.m., that was really poor planning on my part. So my current plan is to read until I genuinely cannot keep my eyes open anymore, and then just wake up really early. I'm thinking like 6 maybe, because like in my dream world I would like to finish this and another book if possible. I think that's being super ambitious, because even if I wake up at 6, actually there's no way, I still have half of this book, which I am really enjoying, but I do have to like use my brain when I'm reading it. Like there's not, it takes a little bit longer to get through because there's a lot of detail, there's a lot of description versus a lot of dialogue, so I'm loving it. Like I'm eating it up. I'm really loving the vibes. It's just taking me a little bit longer. Also, not what I was expecting, but I am really enjoying myself. Like it's like the plot has taken a little bit to like reveal itself in terms of like what we're actually working towards, but I'm really liking the way it's done. Bouncing back and forth between fall and winter. Something happened to Alex and I am feeling like he's the love interest, but I'm not 100% sure. Like I'm pretty sure, but like obviously nothing explicitly romantic has happened at all really. Like we're getting very sparse character information on the MMC, but something happens involving the two of them that we don't get details on in the early winter time. So bouncing back and forth between the fall when she's first like learning everything when she gets to Yale, and then the winter when something has happened and she's attempting to like apply what she's learned, if that makes any kind of sense. But it's super interesting. I really like Leigh Bardugo's writing. I'm actually also, I don't even think I've said this, but I'm also actually currently 200 pages into Crooked Kingdom, but I got into a bit of a slumpy mindset when I hit page 200, so I actually have not finished that, but I love the way that she does world building, and I love the way that this reads. Like it's so good. Like the way that she like layers details in where you're like registering like, oh, I don't know what that thing is, and then it's explained a couple sentences later with context, so it's not like you're getting an info dumped exposition, you're just like learning as you go. I don't know, she's real good at that. She's real good at that, I will say. And I'm really liking it. Like I said, it's very secret history coded, but plus ghosts and magic. Primarily ghosts, but some magic. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like so far it's been a lot more vibes than plot, but like that's part of what's making it feel so secret history. So I don't know. Anyways, it's currently 12:45, clearly, because we are halfway through. And unfortunately, I do have plans tomorrow afternoon and I do have work on Monday. So staying up all night, as much as I would love to, is just kind of not an option. So I'm going to respect what my body and my brain are telling me currently and probably go to sleep here in the next like 20-30 minutes. And then I guess I will just talk to you in the morning. Yeah. Okay, good night. On page 304, I was just sitting here thinking about this. I'm so intrigued to see where I'm gonna end up landing on a rating, because I think that if I had tried to read this book outside of a readathon, it probably would have taken me so incredibly long, because I'm like locked in. Like, obviously I'm binging because I have unlimited reading time, but it's taking me a long time. I've been awake for 2 hours and I've only read 100 pages ish. Like, I don't know, I only have this much left, and I can tell things are about to get crazy because we've just gotten a lot of information and some things explained, so I'm intrigued to see where we're going. And this also feels like the kind of thing where I should really pick up the next book as soon as possible because I'm in it, so might as well continue, you know? I don't know, just thinking about how timing is so important, and because I was in the mood to read and I'm doing a readathon, I'm getting through this quickly. I'm probably gonna end up finishing this close to the end of the time for the readathon. I guess just starting a third book, but I'm glad that I did this instead of just picking something short and quick. I'm intrigued to see where I end up landing on the rating. Just interesting. Anyways, I'm gonna keep reading. Book 2 done. Only 39 minutes left. So my options are to start probably one of these, or I could read some more of Crooked Kingdom because like I said, I'm on page 200 something. I feel like that would make the most sense. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm so far into it, I don't want to DNF it. So 2 Leigh Bardugo books back to back. I'm leaning towards 4, maybe 4.25, 4.5. For some reason this feels like one that I could potentially like more if I read it again or listen to the audiobook. Depending on what happens in the second book, I feel like I could end up really, really liking. I don't know if it's a series or a duology. I really like the setup for the next book. And there's like a lot of reveals that happen in the back, like 30%. The back 30% of this is crazy. So anyways, okay, I'm gonna get Crooked Kingdom. 30 seconds. 4. Oh, it's not even gonna focus. Okay, well, 24 hours. Hey, it's actually been a significant amount of time since I finished this 24-hour reading vlog. I realized as I was editing yesterday that I never wrapped it up. I never gave my final thoughts. Honestly, never really gave cohesive thoughts, I don't think, on anything that I read because I was just giving really brief updates, I feel like, and I want to give a little more in-depth thoughts about each of the books that I read. So I actually have finished Crooked Kingdom in the time since, even though I only read like 10 to 20 pages of it in the readathon. I'm still gonna count it and just put my thoughts in this wrap up. Okay, so I am gonna try and do this so quickly because my Nest thermostat is currently dead and so there is no air circulating into my room at the moment and it's really hot. So first of all in 4.5 stars, I'm gonna go ahead and stick with that rating. Like I said, there are some things that happened towards the back of this book that felt incredibly rushed. Like it just felt like we were racing to wrap up like the larger story and connect all the dots. And so pieces of the smaller case were kind of like rushed and then left not unfinished, but maybe like unaddressed. And I have a feeling that we will probably tackle a little bit of it probably going into the final book. But I don't know, there were just pieces of the puzzle that happened at the end that just felt a little bit incomplete in my opinion. So I can't give it 5 stars even though I just love this series. Like I would recommend this series until I'm blue in the face, genuinely. If you like young adult, you like crime, you like mystery, you like thriller, you like procedural dramas where it is like case by case basis, but then obviously overarching big mystery, this is perfect for that. It's so much fun. It's so good. I literally wrote in my notes app, this is my family for real. These kids are my family. I love them so much. Actually, these kids and Judd are my family, okay? I want to read the final book right away because I love this series so much, but I'm also kind of putting it off because I don't want to not have another book in this series to look forward to. So yeah, I just love when things connect. I love when things connect. I love when we get answers to things that were introduced in early books and then like puzzle pieces fall into place. Yeah. 4.5 stars, sticking with it, loved it, would highly recommend this series. I just love it a lot, clearly. Okay, and then next, obviously, I picked up Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which in hindsight, this was such a weird choice for a 24-hour readathon because like I didn't think about this at all when I added this to my stack and when I initially picked it because I was just really excited about getting to it at some point, but I had heard people say before that this series, like Leigh Bardugo's writing style in these books, requires brain power. Like, and I just forgot that with a readathon, you kind of want things that you can fly through because then you can cover more ground and finish more books and feel more accomplished. As I know you saw, this did take up the majority of my time. Like if I was gonna read this book, I should have tried to stay up for the full 24 hours in order to then fit another book in because with me sleeping, I obviously removed the possibility of tackling another book. So hindsight is 2020, however, I am really, really glad that I picked this up. I don't know what I was expecting from this, but it wasn't what I got. But I am so glad that it was what it was. I don't know how to explain the way that it made me feel like as I was finishing it because also 24-hour readathons are such strange environments sometimes I feel like to experience books, especially books like this that are so immersive. I felt like I was still in the world of this book for days after I finished it. It's one of those things where retroactively I bumped my rating up because I kept thinking about the way that it made me feel and the fact that it was such like a tangible feeling. I just was so impressed and now I want to read the second book immediately. I will say I think a readathon was actually a really good environment to read this in, even though it did take more brain power. It's not super challenging. It's not like there's like really difficult concepts. It's just there is world building and there are a lot of people to keep track of and a lot of societies, like secret societies to keep track of. And the prose is just like a little bit level up. Like it's just, you do have to focus when you're reading, which I do really enjoy, but it did obviously make me read it slower. I think think if I had read it outside of the readathon setting, it would have taken me so much longer to finish, and I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much, genuinely, because I think it's like 100+ pages before we really get into the plot and we really understand what we're working towards. It's a lot of setup at the beginning, which I obviously really appreciate, because then the world is super fleshed out and the characters are super fleshed out and a lot of things to explore within. But I do think it would have taken me a long time if I hadn't read it all in one sitting. Anyways, that being said, the book itself, vibes are so dark and haunting and like gritty, especially towards the end. I think that the concept is so unique in terms of like the way that it's executed, the setup for the next book. Like, there are elements that are introduced in this, but in such a subtle way that you still don't even really understand the full nature of them or extent of them, and I'm so excited to continue exploring that in the next books in the series. All I know is I am now a bigger Leigh Bardugo stan than I was having just read Six of Crows, and I'm so excited to continue this series. I think I'm gonna settle on a 4.25. It feels like the kind of thing that could go up so much on a reread, especially like if there's an audiobook. I can see the audiobook of this eating and also like locking in details I probably skimmed over in the reading experience of this the first time around. So, oh, I did want to say, I just remembered, there's a lot of dark subject matter in here, and it's sprinkled throughout and it's kind of discussed very matter-of-factly, but I would say if you are somebody that is in a vulnerable state, I would definitely look up trigger warnings, because I was not expecting it. Like, when I say that this tackles a lot of dark themes, I mean it. Also, I've only read a handful of dark academia books in my lifetime. I think actually maybe like only one or two, and so this was my first time experiencing one that really uses like fantasy elements to kind of criticize and critique the darker nature of academia, like the dark underbelly of like privilege and power and all of those types of themes. So I thought that was super well done in this. That does translate, however, to there being dark and triggering subject matter, so definitely just look into that if you are considering picking this up. But I personally thought it was handled very well, and I really enjoyed the overall reading experience. So anyways, loved this. Really compelling characters, really compelling exploration of themes, great vibes, would highly recommend. 4.25 stars. And then lastly, obviously, Crooked Kingdom did not get very far at all, but I did continue to read it in the next few days after, and I'm really glad that I stuck with it and finished, because I think what happened is I got to around like the halfway mark and then I just could not get myself reinvested in the story. So it was good to have like a situation where I sat down and was like, I'm gonna read for a little bit, even if it was only for like what, 30 minutes, I think it was, like an hour at the end of the readathon. It re-immersed me in the world, and right where I picked this back up, where I started reading again, things took a turn and the plot started picking up again. So I think overall, I will say, I think it's my fault, because I was reading this over the course of numerous weeks and it really was hard for me to like get back in after I would take so many days off. I think, as would be the case if you were reading any fantasy book, if you take time away from it, it's hard to get back into the world. I think I wasn't as invested in the first half of the book, but the back half of the book brought me back, locked me in, had me feeling so invested, so committed to seeing it through. I was actually shocked. Like, I thought this was gonna be one of those things I would either like soft DNF and just have to revisit it in the future when I like could start back over, just because I picked it up at the wrong time, or it was gonna be something that I finished and was like, like I finished that, but I will never think about it again. I don't know how she did it, but somehow Miss Leigh Bardugo had me loving and caring about every single one of these characters without me even realizing it, because I think when I got to around like the 70% mark, I was like starting to guess the way that things could go wrong and if characters might die, who it would be. And I was like, if this character died, I would be devastated, because I was like, oh, this might happen, and if this happens and this person dies, I will be sobbing. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, wait, because that would happen to me with any one of the 6 main characters. If any one of them died, I would be crying. And it happened without me even realizing it. Like, I think by the time I finished book 1, I really liked the characters, I had liked the story, but I hadn't really become invested, which I just realized I don't think I ever explained the plot of this. If you're curious what I'm talking about, basically this is the second book in a duology that follows 6 outcasts, I think is what they market themselves as. But they work for a boy named Kaz, who is kind of like a really smart, really manipulative figure in the underbelly of this city that they work in. He's like a schemer, a gambler, a gangman, whatever. And in the first book, they go on a heist together. And obviously at the end of that book, lots of things have gone wrong. Things have unfolded, things have changed. And so in this book, we see the same cast of characters kind of navigating the aftermath of what happened in the first book, and then coming together to try and ultimately get what they want out of the entire ordeal. This one has a lot more going on. This one has a lot more going on, a lot of moving pieces. Leigh Bardugo's brain is so impressive because the way everything comes together or falls apart is so impressive. Like, I never see it coming. It's just so good. Like, every prediction I had for what I thought might happen at the end of this book was incorrect. So it's just, I just loved it. I just really ended up enjoying the experience. And I think when I think about it logically, I think that I really did like this book better than the first book. I think just because I was more invested in the characters, I was more understanding of the world. I kind of had a stake in hoping that they could make everything work out for themselves at the end. And obviously, like, I did cry, I did care about every single one of the characters by the end. So I think I have to rate this higher than Six of Crows, which I gave 3.75 stars, I think. So I think I'm gonna settle on 4 stars for this, even though it took me so long to read. Like, I really think if I had managed to read it all in one go instead of spacing it out weirdly over 3 weeks, I probably would have enjoyed it so much more. So I have to give it credit where credit's due. I think I'm gonna go with 4 stars. I'm just really excited to put this on my bookshelf next to its matching sprayed edge Six of Crows. So 2 Leigh Bardugo books in one video, and I'm really not even mad about it because I have decided I really like her writing. So 3 books in kind of 24 hours. Like, not really. I guess technically me finishing Crooked Kingdom, the time it took me to finish those last 200 pages basically was the 5 hours that I slept in the middle of this. So I don't know, do with that what you will. Anyways, I think that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you guys for sticking around, taking it all the way here if you did. I hope this inspires you to pick up some fall reads. I'm literally filming this final wrap up on September 22nd, which is officially the first day of fall. So happy fall. I hope this added to the overall seasonal vibes. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. Anyways, as always, thank you guys for watching. Love you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.